So Tevin Farmer is fighting Floyd Schofield Jr. on the Jake Paul v Chavez undercard. And I'm going to give a quick breakdown of what I think is going to happen in that fight, where I think both guys is at in their career, and some other stuff as well. So Tevin Farmer, if you're a fan of this channel, you know that Tevin Farmer is one of my favourite boxers boxing at the moment, right? He's one of my favourites. I love his style, love the way he fights, love watching him fight. Like I said, one of my favourite boxers to watch right now, and has been for quite some time, despite having a pretty bad record. To be honest, 38 wins, 8 losses in boxing. That's a pretty bad record, right? But it's weird because Tevin Farmer's losses, some of them have been bad losses. Some of them have been against guys that in reality Tevin Farmer should be beating. But particularly his last 3 losses, he's coming off 3 losses in a row, right? Muratella, I think that's his name, Muratella. He lost to him. Muratella 1 year later would go on to become world champion. And of course, most recently, his 2 decision losses against William Zepeda for the WBC interim championship, right? And those Zepeda fights were very interesting, you know, because you look at Tevin Farmer's record and you see those 3 losses, you're like, oh, this guy's probably finished. It's not the case at all. It's not the case at all. And he's still a live body. He still always comes to fight. And if we're looking at those 2 Zepeda fights, it's arguable that he won both. It's arguable that he won both. Obviously, sort of everyone knows going into those fights, Tevin Farmer's going to be the B-side, right? And particularly in that second fight, it was in Mexico. Tevin Farmer's the big B-side. Not the big B-side. Zepeda's the big A-side. You know, Tevin Farmer would have had to do so much to win that fight. And what he done wasn't enough to win that fight, even though, in my opinion, it probably was. It was very competitive. That being said, Zepeda didn't put in a bad performance at all, right? Zepeda came, he applied pressure, he hurt Tevin Farmer, you know, when he could. But Tevin Farmer did drop Zepeda, right? He did drop him, and then that's something I talked about in my Shakur v Zepeda breakdown. I'm not really going to get into it now about William Zepeda, but that, a big knockdown, right? And considering Tevin Farmer's a guy who's not regarded to have a lot of power. He's probably only got a handful of knockouts on his resume. But he's able to knock down William Zepeda in an interim world title fight. So, you know, for me, that's very impressive, right? And that, again, that's one of the things that does give me hope against a guy like Floyd Schofield, because no doubt a guy like Tevin Farmer will land on a guy like Floyd Schofield, right? And you look at the caliber of guys that Tevin Farmer's been in there recently with, Muratella and Zepeda. These are 3 guys who are at world level. And those 2 Zepeda fights were very, very competitive. And Floyd Schofield's fought no one near that level yet. No one near that level. He did have a Shakur fight booked in. I think someone got injured or that fight didn't happen. But to be fair, I do almost respect Floyd Schofield for wanting to take that step up so early on in his career. In my opinion, no doubt, and Shakur would have beaten him very easily, in my opinion. But still, you got to respect someone, you know, daring to be great, right? He's daring to be great. He wouldn't have pulled it off. And will he pull it off against Tevin Farmer? Who knows? Who knows? Because the type of fighter Floyd Schofield is, like I said, he's hittable, but he's very athletic. He's got decent boxing fundamentals, but he comes to bang as well, right? He sort of enters the pocket, throws bombs, and will exit the stage, whether he's, you know, sort of guard up, stepping out, or he's bullying you, pushing you around. That's not really much of his game, but I've seen that in a few of his fights. But Floyd Schofield is a good boxer. But can he beat Tevin Farmer? I don't know. Can he stop Tevin Farmer? It's possible. Can he outbox Tevin Farmer? No, he can't. Right? And from what I see in Tevin Farmer's fights, not Tevin Farmer, from what I see in Floyd Schofield's fights, is he's not a major output guy the same way as Zepeda is. They've both got power, but it's very much a different type of power. Like I said, Schofield will jump into the pocket, throw bombs, and stop you like that. Whereas Zepeda's power is a lot more, he'll break you down, and come the 7th, 8th round, he'll stop you with a body shot, or you know, he's exhausted you, something like that, right? So the power's different, but the power's there nonetheless, right? And like I said, Zepeda's a guy who's known for stopping guys for the most part. He boxed Tevin Farmer for 12... He boxed Tevin Farmer for 24 rounds and couldn't get him out of there. right? Boxing for 24 rounds, couldn't get him out of there. So Devin Farmer's clearly got, well, we know he's got a chin, we know he's tough, we know he can take a shot. But can he take a shot from Floyd Schofield? I want to say he can. And it's hard because you look at a guy like Floyd Schofield's record and you see that he's clearly a guy who they're trying to build up. They're trying to build him up. And Tevin Farmer will be a great name to have on your resume, right? Because you can beat Tevin Farmer and you'll probably get the winner of a Shakur v. Zepeda, right? You'll probably get the winner of that and get a world title fight off the back of that. But then you look at Tevin Farmer, you're like, Tevin Farmer's been in there with a lot of world-class guys, particularly recently. You know, he's not always beaten them, but he's given them a very close fight. And like again, a guy like Zepeda is, you know, a lot better than anyone that Floyd Schofield's got on his resume. So it's hard to pick against Tevin Farmer, in my opinion, particularly because he's one of my favourite boxers to watch. And I know initially I did make a video saying that Floyd Schofield will probably win this because that's the way it's going to go. But after rewatching those Zepeda fights, I wouldn't be too sure. Honestly, I wouldn't be too sure because Tevin Farmer probably still got a lot left in the tank. And like I said, will come to fight. And who knows? It's a fight at the end of the day. And Tevin Farmer's not got huge power, but again, who knows? He can land on Floyd Schofield. No doubt Tevin Farmer can land on Floyd Schofield, right? And Tevin Farmer's a very elusive boxer. I think he's probably slowing down a bit now. You know, going 24 rounds with Zepeda, I don't expect anyone to be, you know, the same after that, right? Boxing a guy like Zepeda for 24 rounds, that's going to change you, right? That's probably going to change your style. No, it's not going to change your style, but may change the way you implement your style, maybe. But hopefully it doesn't. And hopefully Tevin Farmer can win that fight and, you know, go into bigger and better things. But yeah, I think Tevin Farmer could win this fight. I really do. Be curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.